It was a very beautiful, tender moment and an awesome response.
Okay.
So, of course, I want to ruin it.
The best part of the entrance is James Earl Jones's voice. Where is he?
Oh, my God.
My goodness gracious. Wonderful.
They said you were the best in the Parsec.
Welcome to
Parsec Passion, a podcast about Star Wars TV on Disney+. My name's Bubba, and with me, as always, is a man who's always had to tell women that's not how it works. It's Catfish. Catfish, how you doing?
I'm doing it, and I am happy to be joined by a guy who always lets small children go off on their own. Bubba, how you doing, Bubba?
That's me. I am so excited. Catfish, we are dealing with Episode 3, Part 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We are halfway done. Catfish, they don't give these episodes name. They just give them Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. What do you think this episode should be titled?
Brother, can you spare a ride?
Oh, boy. Old Freck, we hardly knew you.
Oh, boy. And I tell you, that guy, he knows what side his bread is buttered on or whatever his parsnip is hornswoggled on.
Heck yeah. Listeners, we're going to break down Episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. If you haven't seen the first 3 episodes, definitely hitch a ride out of town, escape down a deep tunnel where
How did you get this far in the podcast? That's all I
No one can
know.
find you. Last week, we were both pretty high on the first episode. Very kind of lukewarm blue milk warm on the second episode. What is your rating for Episode 3?
Bubba?
Yeah.
I am going to give this one what I like to call 9.8 double S's.
Double S's?
Yeah, suckered sisters. She
Ah.
thinks she's got a captive. Instead, she's being held captive by Leia. Ha 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 ha. You were a suckered sister. Bubba,
Yeah.
I cannot even tell you how thrilled I was. I mean, a tingle, not even a tingle, a full thrush of excitement just to hear Darth Vader's breathing. Okay? And to hear the old Darth Vader voice. To see him just be a badass. And this was a thrilling episode. It was so amazing. And the best part of it is at the end, since this show's called Obi-Wan, and hopefully we'll follow him, this means we've dumped Leia. Yay! I know we'll follow Leia. But
Inquisitor Daycare.
Purely, you'd ask me how excited I was to see Darth Vader back.
Yeah.
And, well, really, you asked me how excited I was to see the actor who played Darth Vader in the prequels. And I was not excited for Hayden Christensen. But let's face it, what did we get here? We got OG Darth Vader. We don't see Hayden Christensen much. We have Darth Vader's voice. This was thrilling, Bubba. And so, listen, I went from an 8 to a 6. Now I'm at a 9.8. Darth force choked me. What about you?
Let me just go with it. Catfish, you are 0.2 away from 10 out of 10.
I am.
And that is how close I wanted to give this episode a 10. But I am like you. I'll steal your rating. I'm going to give this 9.8,
Yes.
what I like to call double O's, or maybe double B's.
Well, double O's? Double B's?
Well, double O's is in the Star Wars community what we call open-flamed Obi-Wan. Or as it's also known, burnt Bens.
Or barbecued Bens. Yes.
Barbecued Bens. This episode, at the beginning, I'm like, well, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. But then you're right. You hear Darth. You see Darth. You hear James Earl Jones' voice, the voice we've all come to love and fear. And then it just gets better and better. And let me say, I've heard people complaining about this end section, and this is all subjective. Anybody can feel how they want. But when Darth Vader is dragging Obi-Wan with the Force through flames because he's like, you did this to me, I'm going to do it to you. Oh, my God. So darn good. 9.8 out of 10. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And
awesome.
Catfish, we asked our listeners, and guess what? They pretty much agreed. On our social media platform at PHQ on Twitter, we reached out to you guys. We said, hey, grade Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 3. Was it great? Balls of Fire? Was it good? The Silent Droids? Was it fair? Farmers from Tall? Or was it Freck? of the 37 people, again, this is a small poll. We put it right out after the episode. 37 votes, 70% said this episode was great.
Oh my goodness, only 70%?
I know. 24% said it was good, and the remaining 5%, 5.4% to be precise, said it was fair. Nobody said this episode was terrible, aka Freck. People loved it. The hype is real. Vader is here. He makes everything work. I loved this episode.
He really does.
And listeners,
oh my God.
we hope you did too. Now, if you didn't, if you loved it, if you thought it was good, you thought it was fair, even if you thought it was Freck, we want you to reach out to us at Double P HQ. Word double, single letter P for podcast, HQ for headquarters, at Double PHQ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/Double PHQ. Search for us on YouTube. You'll find us. And we love doing this and interacting with you. It is so fun. And I'm glad that after enjoying the first episode, kind of down on the second episode, halfway mark, I'm like, let's go. Let's go, man. I'm ready.
Now, man, I am. You know what else I'm ready for? I'm
What?
ready for us to do this podcast. I am a tingle to do this podcast. Let's break down the episode.
Well, Catfish, I do want to give our listeners a note in that
no.
we were at Star Wars Celebration on Memorial Day weekend here in the United States when episodes 1 and 2 dropped. And so we were on vacation. And so we got the podcast for episodes 1 and 2. We got it out a little late. We apologize. We're going to turn this one around.
We would
real
never
fast.
do that again.
We would never do it again, except
Never,
next
ever.
week.
Oh, except next week.
Next week. For episode 4, your co-host Bubba here, that's me, I will be in France. Specifically, I'll be in a town pronounced Mouy, France. You can find it by searching MUIDS. That's how the town is spelled. MUIDS, France. I'll be there next week when episode 4 drops. I'll also be in London the weekend of June 10th and 11th. So this episode 4 is going to come out a little late. We apologize, but hey, what that means, yeah, boo us. But what that means is that you listeners can get your feedback in ASAP, and you can really be a part of our podcast if we talk about episode 4. We have a lot of great feedback on our podcast about episodes 1 and 2, and we can't wait to get to that, but we always love your feedback at Double PHQ. We love it.
All right, let's get to their feedback for episodes 1 and 2.
No. We got to break down
You
this
said we
great
can't
episode
wait.
first.
Oh, Mike, we can wait then.
We can
All
wait
right,
a
let's
little
break
bit.
down the episode.
And we're
All
also
right,
going to have our buddy Double M, Matt Murdick, breaking down some music in this episode. So it is a Double P packed podcast for sure.
Love it. All right, well, then let's get to it.
We pick up almost immediately after part 2. Obi-Wan is on this transport, this cargo ship with little Leia, and he is trying to reach out in the Force to his master Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson, who died in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He's trying to reach out. And instead, his in-flight movie is the new motion picture, Nope. He's getting nothing.
No, but as he does it, as you said, we see Darth Vader being pulled from the bacta tank and reassembled, and it really feels like Obi-Wan can sense Vader now. And I really felt I was like Obi-Wan wet his pants thinking about Vader. Because
Vader's pants were already wet. He was in the bacta tank.
Yeah.
So.
But Obi-Wan is scared. It feels like he knows, that Darth is his better.
He's let himself go during this pandemic of watching little Luke on Tatooine. And so somebody else has let himself go, even though he's going to the spa every day, and that's Darth Vader. Hayden Christensen, he's back, and we only really see the top of his head, but he looks rough. The fact that we see Vader put together and that mask going down on Hayden Christensen's head, it is like, oh, yes, hello, baby.
The breath, the breathing, it's so good.
Well, how about this? The cinematography. When you have Vader in your project, it's got to go to 10, right? You can't kind of half-ass a Vader shot. And so even this first shot where it's a reflection of Vader on the floor, and then the camera pans up to him as he marches down the hallway in his castle on Mustafar. That's an entrance, baby. I love it. And the best part of the entrance is James Earl Jones's voice. Where is he?
Oh my God.
My goodness gracious. Wonderful.
I mean, the timbre of James Earl Jones' voice, just amazing.
And now he's going to be having a conversation with a character who has really split the fandom, and that's this Inquisitor Reva, the third sister. Before we get into her kind of plot and what she does in this episode, Catfish, how did you feel about her in this episode? Because I thought if I was one of those people who thought Reva was too much of a hothead and almost cartoonishly evil in these first couple episodes. I hope they'll be turned around by her in this episode, because you can't go to 10. You can't be all rage when Lord Vader is there. And so
Oh,
I think it was
no.
good.
No, I thought she was great. And, like I said, now I feel sympathy for her at the end of the episode.
How about this? You screw up something at work, what do? You blame it on a coworker.
So good.
And it's like, well, since Obi-Wan took out the Grand Inquisitor, I guess I'm the only one here who's got 2 thumbs and hasn't been stabbed through the stomach with a lightsaber. This Inquisitor Reva.
It's just like when you miss a meeting and you've been volunteered for something.
Now, Vader is still Vader. I mean, he gives us pretty much a short motivational pitch to her. Catch him, you'll be named Grand Inquisitor. Fail me, well, you'll be the Grand Inquisitor in a different sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is literally an all or nothing proposition he gives her here. Sometimes, it's funny, we talked about this in the Book of Boba Fett. Like, give us clear paths that the characters need to go on so we know where they are. Doesn't get much clearer than this, Bubba.
Well, how about this? We were also tough on little Leia, not the actor. The little child actor is doing fine. It's just these lines that you talked about where she's trying to be so precocious. She's trying to be so smart, a firecracker, that they give her lines that maybe don't work. I really liked her multiple times in this episode, including this first bit where they're there on the ship and she's like, can't this ship go faster? Can you use the Force? Obi-Wan, that's not how it works. Loved it. She has a lot of great moments in this episode. Catfish, how do you feel about little Leia after episode 3?
I mean, it just confirmed little Leia is still the worst.
Oh, no.
I mean, this is basically the intergalactic version of Are We There Yet? Shut up and go back to your switch in the back. Pipe down.
Hey, you didn't like this line. I loved when she asks Obi-Wan, or I guess Ben in her sense. She says, what does the Force feel like? And did you like his answer? Like when you're afraid of the dark and turn on the lights, you suddenly feel safe. Yeah. Is that what the Force feels like?
Sure, absolutely. It several times in this episode, I could tell how safe Ben felt.
What I was going to say is I'm afraid of flying. And so it's that feeling as soon as the plane touches down, you're like, we survived.
Okay,
I'll be flying to Mouy, France in just a little bit.
All right.
So we're at a new planet, Catfish. Now, we saw Mustafar there, the lava planet, for a bit, but it's another desert planet, a.k.a. another Southern California planet. Mapuzo, the mining system, which used to be
all fields and people, Bubba.
And now it looks like Southern California.
It looks like the mountains that are literally 30 minutes from me. It is amazing. It couldn't look any more Southern California than if they put a chyron at the bottom saying Southern California. 2022.
No, it would have looked more like Southern California if on Mapuzo there was a police car chase,
right by the Hollywood sign.
Right, exactly. Hey, they land on Mapuzo. There are droids there. They are even avoiding the droids at first, and Obi-Wan's trying to get Leia to understand. Now, remember, Leia, we found out in an earlier episode, she hasn't been off Alderaan. Perhaps her adoptive father, Bail Organa, is thinking, this kid is really precious. Let's keep her home. Let's keep her safe. And Obi-Wan has to snap at her. He tells her, not all people are good, Leia. That means he's listened to this podcast. Thanks a lot, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she knows that already because she put little kid in his place last week. He's just tired, just perfect. And then, oh my God, scary.
Who does he see in a vision of in the distance?
Oh man, he sees Hayden Christensen wearing the Jedi robe.
And, he's so far away, but he can see him. And, of course, if you're Hayden Christensen, you're like, I'll be on this show, but you got to show my whole face at least a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Throw me a bone here.
Absolutely. And also show how much I've been working out.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. Now, hey, let's go to another planet. This is a planet which has been seen in the video games before, but we're going to Fortress Inquisitoris on the planet Nur. Apparently, most of the planet right here is water. And we see the third sister, Reva. She has to march into the fortress. And what's interesting is she seemingly has to go through a metal detector security. I like that. Good work,
of course.
Inquisitors. Keep us safe. But here's the thing that even though I'm so high on this episode, this happens on the animated show. And in some ways, I guess it's natural that this would happen. But the Inquisitors continuing to fight amongst themselves, that for me is the reason why this doesn't get a full 10. In the fifth brother, oh my goodness gracious, am I going to have rip him a new one a bit later in this episode?
I mean,
As Vader
first of all, he says, "This is my seat," and he says, "I'm the one in charge." Now, what kind of numbering system is this? How the heck is fifth brother higher than third sister? This is pure sexism. The only thing I wish that fifth brother had said was, "Hey, you dropped something on the floor. Darth Vader's name." Because she drops it and he gets the big row. You talk to him directly.
Let me say, if you've ever been to Coruscant and seen the opening night of that great musical, Seven Brides for Fifth Brother.
Nice.
So, hey, yeah, okay. This is her plan. Once again, the show has given her a brilliant plan. Hey, Obi-Wan and Bail Organa used to be friends. I bet if we take his kid, Bail will turn to Obi-Wan and send him after us. I mean, this is a smart plan. She's not getting any credit for it at all. She wants to be Grand Inquisitor. It seems like that's the job promotion everybody wants. Those are the Glengarry leads that these Inquisitors want.
Those are the Glengarry leads. Now, I don't know, with Darth Vader, does it really help to show like you've got a lot of drive? In other words, you don't want Darth to think that you're coming for his job.
Or is he so secure? He's like, have at it, kids.
Well, right,
do whatever you want.
exactly. Come for me, please. All right, so they've got a plan.
They've got a plan. They're going to shoot out some probes.
Oh, right. Sorry, I was talking about little Leia and Obi-Wan's plan.
Farmers from Tall.
Right, and he's saying finally he has the best idea that I have heard in this entire first 3 episodes.
What's that?
Little Leia, why don't you just not talk? This is our plan. But
I can't talk or don't talk.
No, just talk ixnay on the talking nay. Just whatever works for you. But
ouch.
Besides being excessively precocious, Leia also loves hitchhiking. And then they get on, and then she just talks. The worst.
Well,
However, turns out later on, she really is the one who should do all the talking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She doesn't blow the cover. Nice work.
Yeah.
Ben.
Way to go, dumbass. But that leads us to a nice moment. So anyway.
Yeah, hold on. Let's talk about Freck. What did you think of Freck's design? What did you think of his voice by famed lead star of the TV show Scrubs and the paramour of a very lovely actress?
Don't say it. Flo Pugh. She's so awesome, and he's so old, but not as old as me. I still got a chance. All right, I thought.
What do you think about old Freck?
I wish I had known that it was him because it didn't sound enough like him that I would have gone and looked to see who is that. It would have been better to know without him because basically he's ruined my life by dating Flo Pugh. I thought he was very funny. I thought it was great. Freck, though, I mean, he's got his opinions. He's a truck driver, and he's going to drive around the Capitol, and
he's got a hand painted, not a printed Imperial symbol on his truck. He's got a hand painted one he's put on the back of his truck.
Right, and like those sometimes with cab drivers or Uber drivers you can't get away from. He starts to say some stuff where you're just like, I'm just going to have to keep my mouth shut here. He says, it's nice to have a little order. He is,
He loves the Empire. And this is the second person we've heard. First was the relatives who came over, the dad relative who came over to the Organas on Alderaan. He was talking about how he's making money from the Empire. And then this guy, and I saw the greatest tweet. I had to include it in today's show.
Tell me, Bubba.
At FlatbushNYC_USA, they had this little opinion about this new alien. They said, so Freck is driving the equivalent of a truck with a MAGA flag.
It's pretty much.
Way to go, Freck.
You get drive around the Capitol protesting things that aren't happening. All right.
Right.
I love it.
He's like, that was Chancellor Valora was a crook. Lock him up. Okay, so Freck, once again, at this point, he seems very friendly. He's giving rides to stormtroopers who are out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, what is going on here, Bubba? I mean, this guy, like he's driving through Joshua Tree, and he's just picking people up left and right.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Right, it's a mining planet. What were these stormtroopers doing out here?
They don't have a ride?
How about this? Stormtroopers get in the truck, Obi-Wan is wearing Jedi robes, or at least as film viewers, we think, oh, this guy's wearing Jedi robes. Nobody thinks anything's odd about it, nor about the fact that Freck has these two people with him in the middle of nowhere. And then Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Obi-Wan.
Oh, man. He's the worst.
He comes up with possibly a good idea. I just wanted to go where she met her mother. My mother's dead. Oh, we're looking for Jedi. Ooh, tell me about Jedi. And Obi-Wan's like, they know what they're doing, Leia. Now, this is where stormtroopers may not be able to hit the side of a building with their blaster, but a lot of times somebody tells me their name and I can't really put two and two together. So the fact that the stormtrooper realized that he used a different name for the daughter than he had told them.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, stormtrooper. I mean, these are strangers. Good work. Good work.
Yeah, no, that is good work, and it is kind of funny for those people who are on Little Leia's side, and I know we'll talk about them later. This is a point in their favor that if anyone should be doing talking, it's someone who talks like 30-year-old wise guy. That's who should be doing your talking. A 30-year-old con man.
Well, the stormtroopers who are initially on Freck's truck, they are kind of idiots. They caught the name switcheroo, but otherwise they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense to us. And then they leave. Great work, stormtroopers. So then we have another moment where I think little Leia, having her there was brilliant, where suddenly she's trying to put things together. And, Obi-Wan had mentioned that her mom had died. And so she's suddenly like, are you my real father? Whoa, I love that moment. What's he supposed to say? No, I flame broiled your real father.
Oh my God. It was a very beautiful, tender moment and an awesome response.
Okay.
So of course I want to ruin it, Bubba. So I've got three alternates here. So I want you to ask me 3 times and I'm going to
let's role play. Let's role play.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be little Leia. You ready?
Yep.
Are you my real father?
Boy, I am glad I'm not.
Stormtroopers, Jedi here. All right, here, let's try it again. You ready?
Okay, take 2.
Are you my real father?
You know, I'm pretty sure I stopped dating your mother by then.
Oh, no. If Obi-Wan said that, that'd be pretty terrible.
All right, okay. All right.
He didn't
take
have
3.
a thing
This is the one I've
good
got
old,
here. Take 3.
Me.
Take 3. Here we go.
Amidala, sure thing. Are you my real father?
No, your father's a monster, just like you.
You can only get that kind of child-hating love here on the Parsec Passion Podcast. Catfish, that was a warm, tender moment. You've ruined it.
It was a beautiful.
moment.
It was a very beautiful moment, and I have to say.
And hey, Obi-Wan gets in on it. Catfish. He has his own memories. He goes, I remember my mother's shawl, my father's hands, a baby. Maybe I had a brother. He was taken real young to be a Jedi, so he doesn't have any of these attachments, and he really doesn't have any of those family memories. Ooh, great moment in this.
It was an awesome moment. It was one of the things that really raised this. I mean, Darth Vader all by himself gets it up there to 9.5, 9.6, but this was a beautiful moment. And then Freck stops by. He's like going through like kind of a guard station on the way, and I don't know why, but he decides to tell these guys, hey, you might want to check these people out in the back. He didn't say anything to the 5 randos who jumped in the back of his truck earlier, maybe because he realized, God, these guys are idiots. But anyway, Freck's like, I'm all for law and order. Let's gas the protesters right here. Okay.
Right. He's like, thank goodness we built this laser fence to keep them out. But hey, suddenly we have these other stormtroopers who Freck has told. They come up, step out of the vehicle, issue protocol 23.
Whoa!
Here comes a probe droid. Here comes a probe droid. It is going down. Obi-Wan, he realizes he's been got. If he had shot it maybe before the probe droid hadn't captured an image of his face, maybe he might have had a chance. A little slow on the draw, but he does shoot it, and then it's on. Maybe time to have a firefight right here at the guard post. And a stormtrooper, this is one of my favorite moments of the episode, a stormtrooper who gets shot. He falls off his little perch, falls on the laser fence, cut in half. Ooh.
Bloodlessly cut in half.
So good. And then, of course, another Star Wars classic. If you come up to a locked door, if you shoot it, it unlocks. Of course, if you come up to an open door, close it, and want it to be locked, you shoot it again. So shooting does everything with doors. In this case, it opens the gate. Hell yeah.
You know what? This is Obi-Wan pulls a classic here. Well, when the guy says the stormtrooper came up and says, "Put your gun down." It's the classic. I'm putting down the gun but then I'll fake you out and shoot sideways and
man.
from a weird low angle with a small child between me and the target. Classic trope.
Right. If somebody holds a child at gunpoint, you shoot first and
So
don't
pretend to put the gun down,
right.
point
Pretend to
it
put the gun down.
sideways, angle it up at the correct angle, and shoot. Boom. Seen it, done it.
Okay, how about another classic trope? Actually, this happened in the last Star Wars trilogy movie. You know, the heroes are captured, there's stormtroopers there, and how did they get saved? Somebody behind the stormtroopers shoots them in the back. In this case, it's actress Indira Varma, known to some of our podcast listeners who listen to our coverage of Game of Thrones, the Joffrey podcast, as Ilaria Sand from Game of Thrones. Here she's Tala, and she kills out all the stormtroopers who have captured Ben and Leia.
Oh, hell yeah. Also, old callback from like 16 years ago. I can't believe it was this long ago. The TV show Rome. She was
Oh,
Niobe.
great.
She's been
Great
around
show.
forever. She's looked exactly the same forever. Amazing. Back to the Inquisitor
Yep.
Dome. That's what I'll call it.
Fortress
And
Inquisitoris.
the fifth brother
boy.
says, "Oh, he tried to suck up to Vader by being the best boy and saying, 'We got him now. Everyone's competing for Dad. Dad, I did it. No, Dad, I did it.'"
Fifth brother
This is the
is
stuff you love. You wanted the scene to be like 10 minutes long.
I would actually laugh with fifth brother because he's so pathetic in so many ways. I bet watch there really be only two brothers, but they still named him fifth brother because they're like, listen, kid, you're a moron.
I mean,
One thing, speaking of morons, Obi-Wan is
Blitz.
been on the run. Get him some new clothes. Dress him up like somebody other than himself. No, I'm going to walk around in these Jedi robes no matter what.
Mhm.
He's comforting to this child. Once again, he has these great moments with little Leia. He's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Well, you did hitch a ride with Freck.
But
We could have
really,
avoided this.
that's what I would say to you. He's gaslighting her. He's completely gaslighting her. It wasn't your fault. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be okay. If I was her, especially as precocious as she is, like, no, it wasn't my fault. It was your fault, idiot.
Thanks a lot. I'm not going back to the farm on Tall ever again, Dad. You stink. Well, okay. Hey, we meet another new character, Catfish. We haven't talked too much about the droid Lola, aka L0-LA59.
Oh,
But now we meet another droid.
Uh-huh.
We talked a little bit about her. Now we meet another droid, Ned B. He's a loader, and loaders aren't allowed to communicate. What do you think of his design? What do you think of this big, beefy droid, Ned B?
I think he's awesome. Now, are they not allowed to communicate? This is the question that Leia had. Are they not allowed to communicate, or they cannot communicate? Because if they're not allowed to communicate, why would you give them that ability?
Well, how about this? Why not at least allow him to, kind of beep and stuff like R2? Maybe
Yeah,
you don't
right.
want to have him talking back, loader. Loader, just do your job. But if a loader has to communicate something with you, like my circuit can't handle this amount of weight or something, allow them to communicate. Come on.
Now, I know this is going to sound strange, and I might be putting too much into it, but there was something about the stillness of this. This had a real solid sort of, to me, like, don't get on this dude's wrong side. Like, I thought that was great design. Like, you really came across really well with the movements, especially when the two stormtroopers come in a little bit later, where he's eyeballing them. I thought it was really just awesomely done. A lot of time was skeptical of the CGI and the characters, and I thought this one was great.
No, I did too. This episode just knocked it out of the park. Hopefully, listeners, you felt this way. If you felt this way or you didn't feel this way, once again, reach out to us at PHQ. We want to hear your opinions on everything. Now, Catfish, you noted a line here that Tala, our new helper, said to Obi-Wan. So what did you want to say about this?
Well, she opens up the cave, right? And she says, "You're not the first Jedi to come through here." That's what she said.
Oh, no. Here we go.
No, she said it. That's
okay.
what she said. Okay.
So she implies that, yes, she's been helping Jedi, that children who show any sign of Force abilities, the Empire is taking for many nefarious purposes, who knows what. And Quinlan Voss, who once again was a Clone Wars animated show favorite character, implies that he survived Order 66. And he had a line that apparently was famous, which went, "Only when the eyes are closed can you truly see the way."
Mm-hmm.
Here they are. They're hidden in the camp. This is an Imperial fortress, and yet they're going to make it out. They just got to go down this tunnel. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything is good except these two guys come in. And
Yep.
what's amazing is that Ned B is ready to clock these fools.
So
And I
is.
tell you something, I'm kind of trying to figure out how many stormtroopers it would take for me to take the stormtroopers over Ned B. Definitely more than
man.
two. I think they got
more
lucky.
than two. I think more than double that 4. I think even 4, Ned B would be cracking some stones.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but they were like, okay, well, hey, tell me, pal. And the other guy has to tell the other idiot stormtrooper, it's just a loader, and it doesn't understand. Just like parents, they just don't understand.
Now, hey, Leia has a fun little line here. Is it scary having to pretend? And what is Obi-Wan pretending? And let's be as serious as we can for a little bit.
Okay.
Is Obi-Wan pretending to be a nobody and not really talk too much in front of Leia? Or is he pretending to still be the hero? What is he in this point? What is he really pretending? Is he pretending to be the nobody, not a famous Jedi who took on General Grievous, who took on evil Sith lords like Count Dooku? Or is he pretending to be a Jedi because he really just doesn't have it anymore? What do you think?
All right, so you said be serious, so I'm going to be serious, and maybe this is a little bit too much, but I feel like he's kind of pretending to himself that he's not the person that he was, because the person that he was, a Jedi wouldn't let these things happen. It wouldn't got to the point where Uncle Owen had to be, saved by the bell. He would have gone out there. So he's just, he's pretending to himself that he needs to protect Luke, and that's the most important thing, instead of, going out there and being what he should be. He's definitely not the guy who is going to train Luke. Not yet. You know what I mean?
Not yet. No, not this version of Obi-Wan, not at all.
Right.
There is a tunnel. We can easily get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But Obi-Wan, or maybe Ben at this point, Ben is breaking down because he feels something. He feels something. And I wrote in all notes in all caps in our show notes, oh, hell yes. Obi-Wan should be running. Get the hell out of there. But he can't. He can't help himself. He feels it. And as
he makes it like just a little twitch on his face.
Mm-hmm. And guess who notices it? The returning heavyweight champion of the world, Darth Vader, has come. Darth Vader has left the castle, and he's come all the way to Mapuzo to take out his former bestie. I love it. Let's get ready to rumble.
Now, with everything Vader's doing here, do you think he's trying to draw Chicken Obi-Wan out, or you think he's just showing everybody who he is?
Right. Is it when he pulls that man out the window and then snaps the boy's neck? Oh my God.
Yeah,
is that to draw
dragging someone down the street?
Oh, he drags her down the street. Is that to draw Obi-Wan out, or is it just because this is how I roll? What do you think?
Right.
What do you think?
Oh man, I think it's to draw Obi-Wan out, because he thinks that Obi-Wan is weak because Obi-Wan is not on the dark side, when really Obi-Wan's weak because Obi-Wan won't even embrace the light side. He's weak
Obi-Wan has PTSD. He saw all his Jedi friends get slaughtered. He saw the democracy fall to an empire. He had to kill his best friend.
That's
he saw
fine.
Padme die. I mean,
suck it up, PTSD. Bro. Go to a meeting. Get some medicinal weed. Come on.
What do you think about this move? In some ways, Obi-Wan is doing exactly what he's going to do in A New Hope. In A New Hope, he's like, I'll distract Darth Vader so Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, they can run back on the Millennium Falcon and escape. Here, he's kind of doing the exact same thing. Leia, you go with Tala. You run. Tala, whatever you do, don't leave Leia. You got to get her on the ship. And he's like, I'll take Vader away from here. In the latter case, it does work in A New Hope. In this case, it all goes to hell.
Well, it all goes to hell because they don't follow. I mean, it's before I was giving Obi-Wan a hard time because he was bad dealing with the stormtroopers. In this one, Tala gets convinced by Leia. Leia's like, oh, I can do this by myself. Tala, you go back and help him. She leaves, And what is this girl? 8 years old? I'm so bad with kids. 8
She's
years old?
10-ish. Yeah.
10-year-old girl to her own devices to get to the ship by herself? I mean, this deserves a call to CPS. Yeah, Child Protective Stormtroopers.
Okay.
This is reprehensible. I mean, the second she does it, I was like, this was a little thing. You know what?
What?
This is a little thing I have a hard time believing. Now, I guess you could sell it that Tala's like, I have to protect the Jedi, but like the Jedi told her to protect this girl. Like,
You had one job, Tala.
crazy. This doesn't make sense. And yet again, I'm okay with it. Less Leia, I hope.
Oh, terrible. Terrible. Now, okay, let's leave Leia aside for a second and let's
It's
get
my
to the
pleasure.
rumble in what's the name of this planet again? The Rumble in Mapuzo. Obi-Wan versus Vader. And this is like a slasher flick. Obi-Wan is trying to get away, and there's some scary people, and if some people didn't like this action scene, I don't know what's wrong with them. I guess it's like, okay, I'm scared. I'm running from raptors. Raptors are fast. I got to get away. I'm running from creatures that can catch me, and so I got to get away. This is the opposite. This is Friday the 13th. This is Jason is coming at you slow and steady. He's not going to run. You can really run far, but guess what? He's going to keep coming, and Vader keeps coming. I kept screaming, run, Obi-Wan. Get the F out of D. Get out of Mapuzo, my boy. Then I was screaming because they end up in this quarry where there's all these rock piles. I'm like, get the high ground, my man. You know you never lose up there. But, oh, boy, it was crazy. Now, what do you think? Vader is coming slow, but he's coming. Is Vader toying with Obi-Wan? What's happening here?
Oh, hell yeah. Because he knows he is the badass. He feels like he's got the upper hand. He's completely right. He tells Obi-Wan, you should have killed me when you had the chance. Those are chilling words, Bubba. I mean, he's completely got the upper. I mean, even if you... Listen, we're on the third episode.
Yeah.
We know what's going on with Obi-Wan. For some reason, he's let his force powers deteriorate. He was barely able to hold up little Leia. Sadly, he was able to hold her up. So even on even match, this would be tough. And now, here comes Darth.
Here comes Darth. Now, hey, there's a little side tangent, just like on all these fights, just like in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan got at it, we had to cut to Yoda and Emperor Palpatine and all this stuff. We have to cut and see Reva is continuing her kind of mission to, score points. She finds the secret room. She finds the tunnel. But to hell with that. Get back to Obi-Wan. Oh, hell yes. This moment. So they clash sabers a couple times. Mm-hmm. That's good. But everybody might complain, well, this isn't a great lightsaber fight. Dude, you want to see a lame fight? Go watch in the middle of the Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, as they have a little fight on Tatooine. That's a lame fight in the middle. This is in the middle of this series. This is just an appetizer to get us ready. I thought it was great. And to see Obi-Wan just get destroyed so much. Vader is toying with him, pushing him with the Force while fighting. Vader, literally, while he's fighting with him, is able to pick him up into the air. And then, when Vader lights that fire and drags Obi-Wan through it, now you will suffer. Your pain has just begun. Hell yes!
That is awesome, Bubba. That is awesome. Now, I had to rewind this section like 3 times.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, because there was a lot of noise and stuff. So there was a line that Obi-Wan said right after that you can barely hear. You have to put
all right, let's role play. Here you go. Your pain has just begun.
No, this is nothing compared to little Leia.
Oh my God. Edit, listeners. Leia was great in this episode. I'm sorry. Now, Tala sees Obi-Wan being dragged through the fire. This is a brilliant writing moment. I love it so much. You know what? Hold on. Before I go on with the story, I want to talk about this for a bit.
Tell me.
This is the middle of the story. It's not supposed to be a great fight. It is an appetizer to get us ready for when these two clash later. Now, I see people online. I follow so many Star Wars people, and I see Star Wars people talking about, well, this destroys the continuity. It says, it's been a long time. In A New Hope, Vader says to Obi-Wan, when we last met, you were the master and I was a student. Well, now I'm a master now. Something like that, right? People like, this destroys the continuity. And I'm sitting here thinking, folks, Lucas destroyed the continuity a million times. Lucas created Return of the Jedi, where Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Yet Lucas then created a prequel which shows Obi-Wan never once thought as Luke did that there was any good in Vader. George Lucas created Return of the Jedi, where Leia is asked if she remembers her mother. And she's like, yes, I do remember my real mother. She was beautiful. She was this. And then Lucas creates a prequel where the children are taken away from Padme as soon as she dies. So there's no way little Leia could remember her mother. Lucas created a million continuity destroying things. Give us this. This is fun. Allow the continuity to be stretched to give us these fights. I love it. Do you have a rebuttal, Catfish, or how do you feel?
I have no rebuttal. I mean, I said one of the hard things was that, they're kind of jamming this in the middle. And I said on our first podcast, I thought, they've got a hard time because they've got to make it exciting and not mess with the continuity too much. But that's just that's a very small bit. I mean, the thing I always say is, are people going to, at some point, watch everything in order? In other words, they'll watch the prequels, then they'll watch Obi-Wan, and then they'll watch episodes 4, 5, and 6. And I would think, and I've said it many, many times, that the thing would bum people out the most, that there'll be a swelling music and Darth Vader will say, I am your father. And the people who watch the order will go, yeah, what's the big deal?
Well, they'll also say when Luke tells Leia, you're my sister, they'll go, okay, she finally found out. I mean, it's like the prequels kind of the idea of the prequels, or the way George presented it, is that it's a new thrill of like, oh my goodness, Vader told Luke the truth. So, well, it won't be the same shock that it was to us back in 1980, but still, this is a fun fight. This is a great appetizer for what we believe is coming in an episode or two. So I had no problems with it, even logical stuff like when Talia causes the distraction and surrounds the stormtroopers and Vader in flames. And so Vader, he has the Force. He can see the droid pulling Obi-Wan away. You'd think Vader could use the Force to crush the droid or do something. But I kind of like that Vader just lets him go. Vader's like, this is pathetic, I'm not even going to waste my Force power on this. And people will be screaming, it's not logical. It's not logical. I'm fine. This was a great moment. Let me have it.
I love it. I'm very excited.
Now, who you can't let me have is, here's where I'm going to go off on my third brother rant.
Oh my God.
Obi-Wan is on the planet. Okay. But he's kind of seemingly gotten away. Third brother has a line, now we'll never find him. What?
I mean, this is as close as they've been to him, right? I mean, wherever Obi-Wan is, he is very, very close.
Right. We'll never find him, even though recently I've been within 100 yards of him on 2 different planets. Well, now we'll never find him. Third brother, I want to fire you. You're so terrible. I actually want to give Freck your job.
I just want to know. I just want to either demote him to first brother or seventh brother, whatever's worse, because I still don't understand the numbering system.
Oh, boy, he's terrible. Now, how about this? Okay, the episode ends. Once again, Reva, she's trying to move up for the promotion. Mm-hmm. She has captured Leia herself.
Oh, man. But really, who's the prisoner here?
No, bro.
Is it Leia or is it Reva?
Well, how about this?
Who's going to regret this situation more?
Listeners, I have a question for you, and maybe I'll put this poll on Twitter
All right, do it.
Later on in the week, so it's not a big spoiler for episode 3. But Catfish, let's rank them. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about all the times Princess Leia has been captured. What's the best and what's the worst? So, okay, in her life, chronologically so far, first, she was captured by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's pretty rough. Now, in this episode, she was captured by Reva. Now, in episode 4, she was captured by Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin. In episode 5, she was captured by Vader and Boba Fett. And in episode 6, she was captured by Jabba. What's the best capture? What's the worst capture if you're Leia in your life? Of all these captures, which one do you think is the worst?
Bubba, yeah. I think the worst time she was captured was in episode 3, season 1 of The Mandalorian by Pelimoto.
Wait, no. Wait.
Put to work. Shut up and fix these droids.
Okay, all right. Now that
didn't happen, Catfish. Her and Pelimoto, they have the same sense of humor, like of a 50-year-old Jewish man.
Yeah. Listeners, you let us know. What is the best capture by Leia in her life? What is the worst time she's been captured in her life? At WPHQ on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/WPHQ. Catfish, we are halfway through. That's episode 3.
Woo!
We got 3 more of these. If we have 3 more like this episode, hell to the yeah. Let's roll.
It's not possible, but I'm still much more excited about this series than I was just last week.
How about this? How's Leia going to get out of this jam? Any ideas? I mean, this, being captured by Flea is one thing, but this is Reva. This is the Imperial evil team. Vader even has to think. Vader can't be in favor of kidnapping senators' kids to pull out Obi-Wan, but Vader hates Obi-Wan so much.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
good
He'll
point.
do whatever. I mean, my question, I feel like at some point Rev is going to come to she's going to come to a real fork in the road in her life.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
do I risk having Darth Vader mad at me, or do I keep dealing with this wisecracking kid?
And at that point, she just ends her life. She's
Yeah, well,
no good
she's like, you know what? I'll just go on the run. I'll leave this kid here.
There
She
you
can
go.
catch a ride somewhere.
Hey, listeners, that's our take. What did you think of episode 3? Let us know at PPHQ.
All right, well, up next, we got our Bounty Hunter Guild battle. Who wins the puck? This week's debate, Bubba. I thought there was one answer to it, but I feel like you can argue both sides of it right now. So I'm going to ask the question, and then you take one side, I'll take the other side, and then I'll ask the listeners to vote for my side, even though I didn't have a choice in it. So
Sure.
This week's Guild battle. The debate, should Obi-Wan have tried to disguise Leia at any point in this entire episode?
Well, in the last episode, too, I kept saying, put one of those masks from the drug spice den on her.
Right.
In this episode, when you're in a planet where, as far as I could tell, we didn't really see too many kids. Well, I guess the kid whose neck was snapped, R.I.P. This episode, it didn't bother me so much. You can't put her in Stormtrooper armor. You can't put her in an Imperial uniform outfit. So in this episode, I'm going to say it's okay to not disguise Leia. Obi-Wan's big mistake was not disguising himself. Why doesn't he wearing a mask? So even if the probe droid comes up, it can't have any facial recognition. So no, he didn't need to disguise Leia at any point in this episode.
All right, Bubba. Now let me tell you why you're wrong, even though I just realized what point of view you were taking, is that she is a senator's child. I don't care what bum F planet they're on. There's got to be pictures of her everywhere along with the reward. I don't care. The senator tasked Obi-Wan with doing it. You can't. This thing is going to get out, and it's going to be splashed over all over the headlines. And even if Obi-Wan hasn't realized it or not, she is the bait for him. And so they find her. They find him. He needs to disguise her. He could cut her hair. He could make her look like a little boy. Hell, he could put her in Jawa clothes. Let's do this.
Oh, boy, that would work.
Let's make her look like a Jawa.
That would work. That would work. Okay, you flip me to your side.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm
All
with
right,
you.
Let me argue the other side now.
Okay,
All right. All right, here we go. So, listeners, vote for whoever's right, even if it's not Bubba. That's fine.
Hey.
Bubba, here's our very next thing we always do is our Mandolicious line of the episode that started with the Mandalorian, because there's a lot of witty banter. And now we've taken it across all podcasts. Our favorite lines. We love a one-liner unless it's coming out of the mouth of an 8-year-old girl.
I'm pro Leia.
I'm more pro Leia. I'm pro Leia in this episode as well. Bubba, I've got 4 options. Tell me what you want. What you choose, or go off the board. The first one, it's not a line. It's just the breathing of Vader. That's it. The breathing of Darth Vader.
Oh, good.
The next one's not a line either. It's just James Earl Jones's voice. Whatever. He could be ordering tea. He could be like, unsweetened. I'd be like, oh, okay, I will not put any sugar in that.
Do you have any splendor?
Yeah. And then it's the third sister after the fifth brother says, I will get what I deserve, sister, and so will you. And she says, I hope so. I certainly hope so. Said mostly with vengeance, but a smidge of, please God, don't let Vader kill me.
Yeah.
And then my last pitch for Mandolicious Line of the episode
this is so good.
is Darth Vader. He's saying, I am what you made me. Bubba, what do you pick for your Mandolicious Line of the episode?
You wrote as an option the breathing of Vader. Oh, that's so good. You wrote James Earl Jones's voice. Oh my God, that's so good. But I get both of those and the classic line, I am what you made me. So good. That is my vote for Mandolicious Line of the episode. James Earl Jones all the time. Hell to the yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'd love to disagree with you, but just like you gave up in the guild battle, I will give up here. You are completely right.
All righty. All righty. Well, how about this? We dress up Vader as a Jawa. Hey, Catfish.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite part of the podcast is when we talk to Double M.
Double M.
Matt Murdick with his musical analysis here with some insights on the audio we heard in Chapter 3.
Hello there. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through this series. It feels like we just got started. In less than a week, we're already halfway through. But that's the way these things go. And this time around, I'm here to talk to you more about Natalie Holt's score for Part 3 this time around. It's impossible to ignore the fact that Natalie has created a new theme, either for Darth Vader or the Inquisitors in general, or maybe just the Empire, but there's definitely a new motif that has appeared, especially associated with Darth Vader in this particular episode. You hear it in its biggest presentation as Darth Vader's walking down the street and just terrifying people. Now, because Natalie is a string player, she likes to write things for strings or for bendable instruments. I do not have access to a bendable instrument. So what you have to imagine is the fact that this note bends from the first note that I play on the piano to the second note that I play on the piano. All of the pitches that are in between those two notes actually get played because the fingers actually slide up whatever the string is, or the string actually gets bent, or however that is performed. Not very complex, but it is dark, and that's because it outlines a minor harmony. Again, minor tends to be darker when we hear those kind of chords, as opposed to major, which tend to put us more at ease. And believe me, there is nothing about this version of Darth Vader that should put anyone at ease. So you may be saying, well, we already have great themes for these characters or these situations that have been laid out by John Williams. I love the fact that Deborah has emphasized to Natalie to create a new soundscape. But don't let the fact that most of these themes are new fool you into believing that Natalie isn't paying tribute to John Williams' original score, especially from the original trilogy, the episodes 4, 5, and 6. There's a point when the lightsabers finally come out and Ben and Darth Vader are battling, where you hear this one little motif in the horns. That is a direct tribute to actually Luke and Han getting Leia out of her prison cell in Star Wars A New Hope. Now, I can't play that cut here for you from the original soundtrack, of course, because of musical restrictions. But what I want you to do is go to your Spotify app, look up Star Wars New Hope, Cut 7, Rescue of the Princess, and go to about 1 minute and 27 seconds, and you'll hear a very similar line to what I just played on the piano being performed in horns, just like they were in this particular episode. The battle sequence within the episode that I'm talking about starts at 35 minutes 21 seconds in the episode. The lightsabers come out, and you hear this da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun, that's very reminiscent of the Star Wars Death Star rescue motif that was played by John Williams, and especially that line running up in the horns as you see the far away shot of Ben and Darth Vader fighting, which occurs at 35:25. You might ask, why that particular motive? That's a good question. One similarity is that in both cases, Ben, both in A New Hope and here in this episode, is attempting to distract Darth Vader so that Leia can get away. Was that Natalie's exact reasoning for doing this? No idea. Did she just want to throw in a nice little Easter egg for music guys? Maybe. I know, pretty thin. But that's really all I've got for you this week. Back to Bubba and Catfish.
Thank you very much,
Excellent.
Matt. Excellent as always. Matt should have little Leia. So we had double L and double M on a podcast together as they talk
my
about this
God.
music. It'd be so good.
Amazing. Bubba, you know what I can't wait for, but I've waited for so long?
What?
It's some of our loyal listeners' feedback.
This is many of our favorite listeners, our true loyal listeners who jumped in with their feedback. But if you don't hear your name called, that means we just want you to reach out to us. We've said it in too many times to mention. At Double PHQ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/DoublePHQ. If you're on YouTube, go down in the YouTube comments. Give us your thoughts on this episode. We'll read them on the podcast. We do this to interact with great, and I mean great Star Wars fans like you. And our first bit of feedback came from a true Double L loyal listener, good old David Gobert, who
Grumpy
just
Go
wrote
Bear.
of episode 1 and 2. He gave it a triple K.
Triple K.
Kenobi cray cray. Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
my
That's pretty
God.
good.
Hell yes. And then Holly at Hunt Pants says, so nice to have my favorite podcasters back to talk about one of my favorite actors playing one of my favorite characters. See, look, another Hayden Christensen stan.
No, man, she meant you, and she meant that sexy Obi-Wan, that bodacious Ben. She loves Ewan McGregor. Who, don't we all? Hey, I mentioned that this character
Not
was...
his daughter, but okay, moving on.
Yeah, his daughter was in the last episode, Ewan McGregor's. Wasn't that great? His daughter played the character in the second episode who tried to sell him some drugs.
I thought she was upset with him for the way he, never mind. No, I won't get into that.
Well, we won't get into that.
All right, excellent. So let's get into this, though. Life with
Here we
Aaron
go.
says, Reva was horrible, terrible, terrible acting. You know,
Yeah.
I just felt that she was like, she's a, these are kind of cereals. And I
Right.
don't mean the kind you eat. It's the old school, like a little over the top. I thought she was fine.
Yeah, I left this comment in because I want to show that if you give us feedback, we'll talk about it, even if we don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. User who goes by the name of Life with Aaron, I didn't think she was horrible. I thought she was to be honest, very accurate for how the Inquisitors are portrayed in the animated shows. The Inquisitors are not my favorite part of the animated shows, but at least in this episode, I really liked her, and I thought she served she serves a good role in this. So I disagree, but thank you for your feedback. Hey, we got one more bit of feedback on YouTube. This is from Priscilla TV, one of our true double L's who goes back to the Joffrey podcast. Priscilla wrote, I came here only for the pictures of the two very charming gentlemen playing with Star Wars toys. Oh,
Awesome.
That's because I put
Hayden
pictures
and
of,
Ewan. Oh,
No.
what?
I put pictures of us at Star Wars Celebration on the YouTube review of episodes 1 and 2. Thank you so much, Priscilla.
Love it. Love it. Oh my God. Double M's old nemesis, Pat Spinagle at Patman23 says, I have to officially oppose Catfish's Leia hate. How dare I say?
Oh, man. Catfish, a lot of people disagreed with you being so tough on Leia. You're still tougher on her in this episode. Pat Man was just one of many who didn't like so much Leia hate. And we want to say once again, it's not the character, it's not the actor, it's the lines, really.
And
It's the
speaking of
lines that they've been given.
It is the lines. And you know who captured the essence of your thought exactly was Laura McMillian at Mesocat, M-E-I, SoCat. I find precocious children very annoying, and little Leia definitely had her moments, but I think the actors did a good job of bringing the essence of Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia into a role. And on a different note, Uncle Owen is pretty badass. I do agree with you.
You
on
mean
that.
badass like the time when I had to tell the boy that he couldn't go to the academy?
Oh, boy. I pulled his papers. Sorry, that was a Top Gun reference. All right, we have another. My goodness, the loyal listeners are just poiling in at Dooley's left legs. Yes. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. I was very impressed with a lot of it, but at certain points it could have been Obi-Wan, Mando, or Boba. There's certainly a formulaic approach to the new shows.
Well, let's talk to that. And Dooley, we love your feedback. I mentioned I'm going to be in London in about a week from now's time. It's such a short trip. I don't know if I'll be able to find Dooley wherever Dooley's located. But
Get some lukewarm beer with them. That's the way they like it.
That is the way. But hey, one of the things we can talk about, and people have been talking about, Mando. It's Lone Wolf and Cub, meaning this old fighter Mando being held, being have to take care of this young child in the child Grogu. Here we are in Obi-Wan. It's this old warrior Obi-Wan having to take care of the child Leia. Is it too formulaic? What do you think, Catfish?
Well, one of the things that we talked about last week being formulaic was that feels like Obi-Wan's journey is kind of going to be the same as Boba Fett's journey.
Mm-hmm.
Where we really see him down. It's funny because, and this is horrible because I can't remember where I read it, but I had read somewhere that they canned one of the earlier writers because his idea was that Obi-Wan and Luke would kind of go on some adventures. So they canned that dude because, no, this is horrible. So now it's Obi-Wan and Leia going on some adventures. Again, I say before, it's kind of a serial. I mean, they're kind of telling the same stories. I don't mind. I didn't like the way that it was told in Boba Fett until it became The Mandalorian. It's fine. It's fine here too. I mean, this is tough because with this show, with this one specifically, Obi-Wan, you're covering someone that we see in the prequel. In the prequels and in episodes 4, 5, and 6. So this one is tough. I like what they're doing. The connection between them, it actually reinforces that whole connection between Leia and Obi-Wan that we see in Star Wars: A New Hope.
Without question. She says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope." Now, admittedly, in the rest of the message, she doesn't mention, "Hey, when I was 10, remember how you helped me out of that jam?"
Well, she didn't have much time.
Right.
But
she's like, R2's got a slow processor. Let's get on.
I'm sorry I was so precocious. But you should still have let me talk instead of you when we were on that truck.
Right. Remember the time you really blew us to Freck?
Jeez.
Blew our cover to Freck. We love this feedback. I'm going to mention it one more time. Reach out to us. Tell us your thoughts. Even if you just say, I agree with everything you said. Reach out to us at WPHQ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/WPHQ. On YouTube, leave those comments in. Next week for episode 4, again, we're going to be a little behind the schedule because of my trip to France, but know that we do want to hear with you, and that'll give you more time to watch the episode and join us in this discussion on the remaining 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Holy cow. I am so excited, Bubba.
Excited.
You can hit me up at CJGman67 on Twitter, or you can hit me up at Instagram at G2TheMan. That is GEETO, the man. What about you, Bubba? How can they reach people?
My name's Bubba, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM at Fit and Trim on Twitter.
Until next time, delayed by Bubba, we will talk to you on the podcast
Parsec Passion.